Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and glory and honor to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bashem, Akarkadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. Shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching this word truthfully, faithfully, strongly, and sincerely. And I say shalom to your Akim out there, and it's sit down lesson on this Sunday night, December the 19th, 2021. And I'm gonna bring this up right here. It's an article I was just looking at. I wanted to do a little quick sit down lesson on it. And the highlight of this article right here from RT News. And it says China and Russia are ready to end the U.S. dominance of global finance. And it says the Russian President Vladimir Putin held extensive talks with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping, president of China, early this week, with the two world leaders agreeing on plans to establish a new shared international financial framework. China and Russia has been gradually moving towards such an agreement since the global finance crisis in 2008 reveals the risk of excessive reliance on the U.S. However, American economy sanctions against both Moscow and Beijing appears to have intensified the search for alternatives. Continuing on with the article, and it reads, the American central finance architecture is an immense source of power. Most international trades conducts the U.S. dollar. The transfer of payments goes through the SWIFT transaction, which the country has immense sway, while financially diverse from the U.S.-led investment banks, debt rank by rating agencies, and even the main credit cards of America. The main credit cards are in America. These economic instruments of power enables Washington to run an empire. It can manage a huge trade deficits, collect data of its adversaries, and give favorable treatment to allies, and crush its adversaries with sanctions. Yeah, just like with China, Russia, Iran, Beijing, And it says the U.S. Central Finance Orchestra is no longer suitable. The White House has lost control of its negative trade imbalance, debt, and spiraling out of control. And rampant inflation is destroying the currency, right? Because that's when that MLTB comes into full effect. That's when that comes around. And that's what the American dollar is going to crash. And it's going to turn to that fallout all digital currency. And that's when you got to buy or sell using digital currency, And that's the charagma, that MLTB, and it's going to be full effect. That was just a side note I wanted to add on there, but continuing on with the reading. It says a rampant inflation is destroying the currency, making matters worse. Washington is using its financial orchestra as a foreign policy tool by imposing sanctions on its adversaries. The U.S. Secretary of Strategy confirms that China and Russia are the main two states Washington's crosshairs, which make it imperative for Moscow and Beijing to establish an alternate financial orchestra decup, decupped by decoupled from the United States. In the decolonizations, the reduce in reliance on the U.S. dollar as a reserve and transaction currency is immense. Challenging as the dominant roles of the U.S. dollar has defined the international finance system for more than 75 years. The dollar has continued its strong position for the three main reasons: the huge size of the economy, the preservation of the dollar value by keep inflation low, and the open and liquid finance market, as the U.S. economy is a relatively declining. Inflation is out of control. That's why everything is going up. That's why you see food prices going up, the cost of living is going up, everything, etc., etc., And its financial markets are used as a weapon. The foundations for the enduring role of the dollar are quickly coming to an end. See, that's a key point right there. It says, and I'm gonna read it again for edification's sake. And that's that push for that MLTB, and that's in the Book of Revelations 13 and 16. On your head and your arm, on your right arm, for an examples. And that charagma and that continue to push the MOTB, which is the charagma, and that's the Book of Revelations reveals, like I mentioned before, It says the foundations for the enduring role of the dollar are quickly coming to an end, right? So that's that dollar is coming to an end. That means it ain't going to have no value, And that's when that full digital currency is going to be implemented, and it's going to go out full effect throughout the whole world, in the times that we're, living in. And continuing on with the reading, it says a financial partner between China and Russia, the world largest energy import and the world largest energy exporter, is a indispensable instrument, I meant to say, for dethroning the petrodollar. In 2015, approximately 90% of the trade between Russia and China was settled in dollars, and by 2020, dollars denominated trades between the two Euro-Asian giants and has almost reduced by half of only 46% of the trade in dollars. Russia has also been leading the way in cutting the shares of the U.S. dollar in its foreign reserves. And it says the mechanism for the de-dollarization in China and Russia trade are used to end the use of the greenback, which is three parties, with the advancements being seen in places such as Latin America. Yeah, because they, I believe Latin America, they do like trade partners with the United States as well too. In the countries like Venezuela, Cuba, and all that, because they use the American dollar as well too. In Turkey and Iran, it says the greenback also used to end the use of the greenback, which is third parties, with advancements being seen in places such as Latin America, Turkey, Iran, India, etc. The U.S. has been pumping out dollars to the entire world for decades. At some point, the tide will change as the seas of dollars return home, increasingly diminishing the value. Right, so that lets you know, as it was showing the end of uses of this greenback from these countries that used to be in Turkey, Iran, and India, and etc., and Cuba, places like that, in Venezuela.
probably get it.
So yeah, it left places, like mentioned before, the U.S. has been pumping out dollars to the entire world for decades. At some point, the tide will change as the seas of the dollar return home, increasingly diminishing value. Right. So once these countries ditch the American dollar, you know, where they've been using it for as a trade partner currency, this is places like China and Russia. They ditching the American dollar. That's why they haven't been having talks with each other to come with some type of financial sort of thing as a financial partnership. And they ditching the American dollar, and they're gonna find ways to stop America as being the top world economic financially with the dollar. That's definitely downward spiraling. And as we seeing that, like I mentioned before, as the introduction of this video, as the title, as I scroll all the way up from the title, it's showing about the Russia and China, find ways to come with the financial partnership between the two respectable countries. And the United States dollar is crashing, and they're not a top financially country no more when it comes to finances and the money currency and everything backed by the American dollar, as the American dollar value is continuing to go down and incline at a higher rate, And it says the U.S. has been pumping out the dollars, and I'm gonna read it again. The U.S. has been pumping out dollars to the entire world for decades. And, it's been decades. That's been a very long time. And at some point, the tide will change as the seas of dollars will return home and increasingly diminish values. Right. So that lets you know that, the United States dollar is not going to be in good use for these countries no more. They're not going to have any good use of these dollars. So that lets you know American dollar is going to crash and it's going to be no more value. The American dollar is going to very soon to come, in the times that we are living in, it's not going to be no more value. And that's when that charagma comes in. That's that MOTB comes in the book of Revelations, like I revealed, I previously said before, I was saying again, and it's, for edification's sake, for the audience out there. And it lets you know that the American dollar, the North American dollar of currency from around the world is not going to be a top global economic power when it comes to finances of its American dollar. It's going to be no longer in use no more. Just like those countries was using it, which is China, Iran, India, and Latin America as well too, which is Cuba and Venezuela. They're not going to have no more in use of this, the American dollar. The value is continuing to drop and decline as well too. And it's going to continue to show signs of that, because the signs of the times that we are living in. We're living in currently and increasingly in the book of Revelations, and which is that, that charagma that increasingly push in the book of Revelations, and that's that charagma, that full out digital currency. And then you're going to have to buy or sell. It's going to be digital, because everything is all out going to be modernized, modern day, full out digital currency. And that's the only way you're going to be able to buy or sell, be able to go to such places that you used to on your everyday life basics, the basic things in life that you do. Like if you go on the job, you're going to have to from on your body, you're gonna have to scan, which is digital, scan in and out, back in, back and forth on your jobs or your place where you go shopping or go to the movie theaters, basic common things that a normal human being would do, and it's going to turn out to be full out digital because everything is going to be digital. It's like a buy or sell thing, like I mentioned before. And then that a dollar is going to be no longer value and it's going to be no longer in use. In these countries, they're not going to use these American dollars no more because there's not going to be no more use because they're going to come out with their own currency. And that own currency, their dollar is going to be no value as well too. And they're going to have to go all out digital because everything is going to be digital in the times ahead that we are living in, And I'm going to bring out this, scripture for edification's sake, And I'm going to go to it. Let me save this. And I'm going to go to the book of Revelations that pertains to this news article about China and Russia, Revelations 13 and 16. Slovakia. And this is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16. He causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free of bond, to receive the M word in the right arm or of the middle part of your head, I'm not going to fully say those words because I might get a strike on my YouTube channel. So we got to keep it, coded. But, other than that, that shows in the book of Revelations right here, that's that charagma, that full implement and that full push for digital currency. And it's going to continue to push, That's why the American dollar is going to be no more use in the digital dollar. In the cash dollars of these countries as well, too. They're going to diss the American dollar and they're going to use their own currency, which is the dollar. Their currency of their dollar is going to be no more use as well, too, because everything is going to be full out digital, And these are the times that we are living in. We are definitely showing the signs of increasingly we're living in the book of Revelations, Even though it's more common, we've been living in it. But as time progresses on and showing the signs increasingly on a daily basis, that we're definitely living in the book of Revelations, And so with that, I hope this was edifying. This caught my eye right here, so let me do a little quick sit down lesson on it. But and I'm gonna read it again, China and Russia are ready to end the U.S. dominance of global financing. And that's showing signs of the dominance of the United States dollar, which backed by them, as I was reading the article, they was pumping more dollar and using these economic sanctions on these countries, they said, which is on China and Russia, Beijing as well too. And Iran could throw them in there as well too. As all those three things are those three nations that I just named, which is China, Russia, and Beijing and Iran as well too. That's quickly intensifying. But, if this do happen of China and Russia coming into an agreement as they had talks with each other about creating a partnership of global finance partnership to overthrow America's dominance of global finance, which for certain is definitely going to happen. And then, the dollar is gonna crash, and it's not gonna be no more value. It's not gonna be high value no more. It's gonna be devalued. It's not gonna be no more value no more of the dollar. That's why all out digital currency is coming, and the full push of the MOTB is definitely approaching. As we see it right before our eyes, we are definitely living in the deep parts of the book of Revelations, with that charagma, that MOTB is pushing increasingly rapidly in the last days, in the days that we are in. So with that, I'd like to give all praise and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Makar Kadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. Shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully, faithfully, strongly, and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And until next time, I will say, Shalom.